What's your name and what do you do and where do you work?
Hey, I'm Chris Jones. I'm the store manager of Builder Surplus here in Louisville.
So tell me a little bit about what the purpose of the marketing was 2 years ago versus things we try and focus on today.
So the marketing that we actually Allie had came up with was to come up with a funneling system where we get a stronger online presence and truthfully a stronger online net. And it was a great funnel system that brought us a lot of leads, a large amount of leads, and good leads. And it would bring it to us and it would put it all formatted out and ready to go. And we realized immediately we had a bit of an issue simply because it was overload, because it was a lot of leads. And how do you handle that? How do you manage that? And we wasn't prepared for that. So Allie and I had met. She helped come up with a system that was basically a page that would nice and clearly lay things out for you with dates, what it was, a system that we could follow up on that made sure that not only was we getting in touch with everybody and fast, but quicker with better results, better penetration, better close rates. It was actually a really, really strong system, kind of a game changer.
So tell me about what the follow-up looks like today.
What the follow-up looks like today is basically we get the lead and within 24 hours the assigned person calls and hopefully speaks to them. If not, they leave a message and sends an email and tell them who we are and about what they had signed up for, and we want to get them set up. And after that happens, we leave that message, it will get assigned to someone's CRM, and then it becomes part of their follow-up that they have to regularly follow up with until we have an answer. If there was just something they were looking at the time and maybe they changed their mind or their circumstances have changed, or they are just busy and haven't been able to follow up. But it allows us to find out what's going on. It allows us to find out information so we can tweak our marketing and our net. And it also allows us to get the folks in and get an appointment with them and get them taken care of.
So are these leads actually speaking to you on the phone, or a good percentage of them?
A good percentage of them does speak to you on the phone. A good percentage of them are excited, glad that you called, and they're always surprised that we called back so fast.
And are these leads actually converting into customers?
Yes, these are actually customers, because even if it's not what they had initially was into, which typically for us is kitchen cabinets, as we get into it, they realize what we do, and we can actually introduce who we are, what we do, and the scope of the projects we can handle. So even if maybe you're not ready for your kitchen project, you might be ready for other projects. Then you find out we have them and it gets you in.
So I love how you said that, because I think it's important for people to understand that when someone's signing up for something like this, they do want to do it. The intent was there. The question is, are they financially in the position to start now? Is this something they're in the beginning stages of, or something that they plan on doing later? So as you can see on the sheet, it talks about when they're thinking of doing these projects. And what's your mindset about people who are 6 months to a year out? Like, how do you feel about those people, and how do you want to make sure that you take advantage of those leads?
So when you get leads that are 6 months plus out, I've seen initially it was like, well, let's drop them in the CRM, and as we get closer, we'll shoot them an email now, and as we get closer, we'll call them. And I found that was a huge mistake. I found that the best thing to do is call them immediately, find out what projects they're working on, because I don't know how they found out about us. Most of these people have never been on our door before. They don't know what we do here. They just know that whatever we had out there at the time they were interested in, so they signed up. So if they've got a project that large 6 months from now, the odds are they're doing other smaller projects to get to that point. So once we get them on the phone, we talk to them, we found that, well, we're doing this, this, and this before we do that project. And we're able to say, hey, was you aware that we do this? Well, no, we weren't. We'll come in and see us. So they come in and we end up getting more of the project, or we give them some insight and give them some information and build value into who we are. But following up and building that value and that relationship when it's time for them to make that big project, then we're the go-to.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've seen people make that mistake. They think that the people that are farther out, they don't need to treat them as a priority, but you actually have a better opportunity to develop a stronger relationship. Make sure they do choose you when the time comes. And like you said, try and gain some of that additional business.
Yeah, you don't ever think linearly. You want to think as this is a lead. And if they're doing a kitchen project, they could be doing many projects. And like I said, they've never been in the store before. Most of them, they don't know what we do. So making that connection with them and having that personal contact where they realize they're not talking to a third party that's off-site, but they're actually talking to an employee in the store, then the questions start and the interaction starts. So it's a really good way to start with your customer before they ever steps foot in the door. So when they come in the door, they're looking for you. They know what project they're working on before they even get to the big project. So you have to realize this is a potential customer, not necessarily a potential specific sale.
I think that's really great insight. So another thing that I've seen is that people will try too hard to pre-qualify someone on the phone before taking the time to actually meet with them and like get more in depth into their situation, their specific budget, those things. And as we know in this industry, a lot of people are not comfortable giving their budget, especially on the phone when they've never spoken with you before. So do you feel like it's really important to try and see everyone as an opportunity and take that opportunity to educate them? As you know, we introduced the lead education portal that had a lot of those key pieces of information, such as the NKBA budgeting formulas and different things that might help them better understand the process before they ever meet with us. So kind of tell me about your thoughts in terms of maybe educating people who don't necessarily understand the costs of things or the way that the process works.
Right, I would say with online sales, which this is not really online sales, but it's a new way. I think what we've done is moved our front door into your home. So having that personal interaction, you have to kind of use the same rules you would use in the store. You want to get the budget, but you don't want to drill down on the budget. You don't want to be the person challenging them because it is a sensitive question. So rather, we try to educate you on how to come up with a budget, what you need to work on, what you need to think about, what you need to take into consideration, and then let you know how important it is to have that information before we actually start with the process. So I think by doing that, you're allowing the customer to become more self-aware, become more educated, and to learn what they need to do and how they need to overcome that hurdle themselves rather than you trying to coax them over the hurdle. So I think that's huge because you can put people off by seeming a little too pushy on trying to get that budget. It's got to happen. You got to get there. However, allowing them at their own pace and to figure out what they want to come up with and what they want to tell you in advance is huge.
So another thing that I like to make sure people understand is that every lead, whether they turn into a customer or not, is an opportunity for you to get your name out in the community and hopefully have someone who will refer you to family and friends. So do you feel like meeting with people, whether we are a good fit for them or whether they're ready, has opened new doors for brand advocates?
Yeah, I feel like it is important. It's very strong. You got to be careful and manage your time during certain seasons because you can't overload people. Your salespeople, you got to take care of them, make sure that their load is manageable and it's leads of folks you feel like stronger. But you can set up quick meetings in here where we give information and insight and educate. So even if they don't purchase from us and they purchase somewhere else, they know that you're a resource for them, and that's huge value. And when they need something in the future, and it allows them to see what's in the store. And then when they do say, hey, you know what, Chris at Builder Surplus was really helpful. And you know, if I remember correctly, they've got vanities. Let's just go there and talk to him and see what he says, because even you never know. So it is always making yourself that destination, building that business within a business.
I really love that. And do you feel like the educational content that we have produced for our online marketing strategy is something that customers come in and reference, and that people are paying attention to the education that we're putting out there?
I think as what I've seen as things have progressed, the landscape and how people go to market, is if you don't have a really strong and accurate market. I think one of the biggest mistakes you can do is oversell what you have in the store, because folks will come in and then it's the psychology behind retail. They'll be disappointed and you won't get the sale. So it's so important that you have your online marketing that's realistic, that's very detailed, that has a big scope of everything that you do, and having that presence is huge. So if you don't have that, or if you have something that's close or random, I think you fail. More and more and more, that powerful, accurate, strong presence is truly, that is your new interaction in the aisle, but it's happening in their home. So that's what I would say. You have to have the accurate information. It's got to be strong and it needs to be interactive. So that's where you need to be, because it is truly that first interaction.
Do you need to answer the phone, or should we wait?
I got it.
Okay. So finally, tell me how you feel that this new addition to the marketing, focusing on generating leads before they ever come in, is going to play a part moving forward.
I don't think it's going to play a part moving forward. I think it's going to become more and more the focus. It is the future, and it's going to continue to evolve. So I think right now we're already seeing the sticks and bricks whole model changing and evolving. That is the future. If you don't have, again, that first interaction in the aisle in their home with that interactive piece, you're not going to get to go to the next level. So it's going to continuously evolve, and that's going to become stronger and stronger. So you have to get that foothold now. You have to embrace it now, or you're going to miss it.
So let's talk real quick, and one final thing about the money we invest in marketing and why we continue to increase the budget for these things and that return on investment. So a lot of times I'll see people who they are too scared to invest the money that's necessary to see results, and then they don't think about increasing the budget as you get results to get better and more effective results. So kind of talk about how you see that.
I really feel like that they'll spray and pray is gone. And with online marketing, if you do it right, it is very measurable. It's easy to see what your return is. You can drill down as far as you want to with where your demographics coming from, where your zip code's coming from. You get so much information if you're smart about it. So the return on investment is very easily measured. It's very easily measured. So I think that people are afraid to move forward and invest that money because they think it's the old spray and pray, because marketing's always been one of those variables that you just threw it out there and hope for the best. I don't think anymore it's like that. More and more, it is probably the most easily tracked return money you can invest and get you a lot of more information so you can better use your funds in the future.
And we have increased the budget several times over the years, and
tremendously.
It's because we've seen that it's had an amazing return.
You put your money where you get your money.
Well, I think that this has been extremely informative, and I thank you so much for sharing your story, and look forward to continuing to help you move forward.
Thanks, Allie.